Hey, Happy New Year and thanks for stopping by, it's been a while. A bit of a longer delay in videos than I'd like as I was moving house towards the end of last year, but I'm back to give you some more Ironman progress. Here we're doing the Halloween event, so a bit out of date, but we did get a huge surprise when cashing in the holiday currency. A golden prism which opens up into 2 soul dies. A long time ago, and you might have seen it on my account, I did get another soul die from some previous event and I put it on my Nock staff, which was a slightly regrettable choice. So stay tuned until the end of the video and I'll show you what I put it on. It's a slightly better weapon than a Nock staff for sure. So the following clips are going to be from the various bossing that I've done in the last few months. So here's where we ended up from the end of the last video. Since the release of Amasket's combat achievements and adding a few more points to the tiers, they've slightly set me back from my goal of tier 4, so I lost a little bit of motivation when pushing for it and I moved on to other things. Having said that, I did manage to tick off a few though, starting at the Sanctum of Rebirth, where as you may recall, I've had some pretty terrible luck. Here's me attempting the combat achievement where I defeat both Shadow Sands gorillas before defeating Nakatra herself. So a pretty annoying one ticked off. That wasn't particularly difficult, but it does prolong the kill into another 3 Shadow Sands phases, so you just gotta keep going doing the DPS on the gorillas until you get them. No drop though. Another set of relatively easy combat achievements is at Barrow's Rise of the Six. The hardest part about this was really getting together for a group that wanted to do it. So most of the achievements that I had left could all be done in one-shotting the boss at the start, so after a few tries, there we have it. I did also want to show that I was improving and becoming very consistent at the Sanctum of Rebirth. I got multiple new PBs doing some cozy Reaper runs in the last few months. Still no progress on the log however, but it'll come. And always when the opportunity presents itself, I'm doing full raids with the clan. I got a few active pieces as you saw at the beginning, several Maz capability codexes, and a PB every now and then as well. Elite Dungeon 2 is probably the boss that I've been doing the most during the last few months. As you know, I'm still grinding the energy required to make the Elite Tectonic set, and I'm over 500 energies now. So here are a few highlights from those kills. And along the way we got some surprise log progress, which is nice with the Greater Barge Codex. So only the pet to go for the log and we still need 300 energy. I'm hoping I can finish it off within that grind. I've made big progress at Raksha, completing this absolutely terrible combat achievement that requires you to not allow Raksha to use his tail swipe ability by being in melee range. I'm absolutely positive I did this wrong and I tanked a lot of damage as you can see, but I got it done. And I got a huge drop as well. This was my first Raksha drop, the Greater Ricochet Codex. I was hoping for Chain, but this is part of the best in slot range setup, so I'm thrilled. Great for the motivation to keep coming back here and doing Reapers. I've still got a lot to work on at Raksha, but much like the Sanctum of Rebirth, I'm getting pretty cozy kills here. Great to get my first log progress, and I really enjoy pumping out DPS and doing Reaper tasks at this boss, so hoping more will come. Here's just a reminder of what combat achievements I still have left. Most are unattainable at the moment, but I think I can do that 100% corruption and phase 1 achievement at some point, so I'll come back for that. And we finally returned to Archglacior in an attempt to get some frozen cores and either get 200 kill streak or 2000% in rage. You may recall in one of my first episodes I did a whole bunch of Archglacior with nothing to show for it, but I climbed up to about 1600% in rage. So we pick up from there and head on up to 2000%. We finally got one! This was after the core drop rate buff, so I'm extremely happy about this considering I was dying every now and then and not streaking on my way to 2000%. So one down and one more to get, as well as 2000%. Nearly there. There we go, the silver Iceborne title for killing Archglacier at 2000%. Another big accomplishment ticked off for me. I've come a long way both in gear progression and also PvMing ability to be able to do this. The 200 kill streak achievement still eludes me, mostly due to my internet connection, but that's okay, we'll have to come back for a second core anyway. Now onto making, augmenting, and showing off the new sword. I thought I'd show off the sword in the snowy Fremennik biome. It's such an awesome looking weapon, especially with my current outfit. So apart from technically getting a second core and some more Dark Nihilists, the log just requires the pet for completion. And here's a list of the combat achievements that I've still left to get at Archglacier. Much like Raksha, most of these are fairly unattainable for me at the moment, the closest being either the 1000% kill in less than 2 minutes 30 or the 200 kill streak. And my melee setup continues to grow, especially with the new 120 thieving update coming with Tazar necklaces and the proposed combat rebalances in the future. I'm keen to bolster this style. For the Masterwork sword, as you can see in the bottom row there, I'm actually a single Drygor weapon away from starting that. Same for my Masterwork armor and just getting more Torva essence. So as well as doing PvM, I've also had the long-term goal of completing Skekker's Hypno Wand, the Hunter offhand. With the upcoming release of Havenhive and the speculated 120 hunter skill increase, I want to get my hands on it. I'm 2 pieces out of 4 at the moment, with the last 2 pieces being from Vile Blooms and Big Game Hunter. Now, apart from the Hypno Wand, I've actually completed Big Game Hunter, getting the Pterosaur Maul drops and completing the Ranch Out of Time. So whilst I enjoy Big Game Hunter, I've done over 1500 hunts I believe, so looking forward to putting this content to the side for a while. So there's the Vile Blooms piece done. For those of you who don't know, you have a 70% chance of getting the specific piece that you need from that particular content, such as Vile Blooms here, with a 10% chance for each of the other 3 pieces. This is the same for the 4 different pieces respectively, so if I went to Osseous, I'd have a 70% chance to get that one instead. Hope that made sense. This, however, is an example of getting very lucky and receiving a piece that isn't the 70% chance from this content. I rolled the 10% chance for the piece I needed and have completed the Skeka's Hypno Wand. So, naturally, I decided to take it to a place where it didn't do anything for me, but you can see it in my equipped items nonetheless. This was an AFK activity I like to do to farm tier 3 troves at the hunter nodes on the big front. I had a whole lot of effigies left from the incubator minigame and spent a few hours here to crack them all, putting them on rune crafting, which is my latest 120 skill goal. Similarly, I was maxed out on penguin points, so it was time to spend those lamps. A juicy 2.5 million experience drop as an Ironman that gets me 113 rune crafting. Pretty satisfying. Again, this is probably dating the episode pretty far back from when I will actually release it, but another piece of content that I really enjoyed in the last few months was the Star Sprite quest. It takes the player to Zolaria. I really enjoy these sort of one-off quests, and lately I think the quest team have been doing an awesome job. I'm really excited for what's to come from them. Thankfully, I've been doing an okay job at keeping up with quests and doing them as they release, so there's my comp and quest cape reacquired. And just look at this place, it's stunning. I spent a good 30 minutes or so just flying around and taking in the environment. I'll definitely be spending a good chunk of time here mining the meteorite fragments for when I get back to my champion scroll grind. The cannonball buff will be hugely helpful. And as for trim completionist requirements, it's definitely going to be a focus for me in early 2026. By the time I've released this video, I'll be getting involved in as much 120 thieving content as I can, so stay tuned for that video. But otherwise, trim comp is my main goal alongside combat achievements. So here's me getting the Wisdom of Anima trim comp achievements. And every week or so I try and do a golden and regular statue completion, so here's one of those now. I'm only half a dozen or so completions away from both statues from finishing this requirement, thank goodness. Another random Master Quest Cape achievement was getting Neresa's journal drop from Node on Dragonkin and then returning it to her. And every day I keep an eye out for the merchant stock so I can pick up my unstable air runes for the Runecrafting Guild max reputation achievement. You can see I'm getting really close with almost 100,000 reputation and just need 15,000 to finish it. Hopefully by the next video I would have completed it. When I can be bothered, I'm grinding Corporeal Beast for Cannonball drops, although it really feels like a chore for me because this boss is painfully boring. Gotta be done though. And it wouldn't be a Dagi Ironman video without a small clue haul. Any fortunate components is good at this stage, and I try and get about 50 or so components every few months, as clues aren't my favourite thing to do, but they're so necessary as an Ironman to upkeep finality amulets. So that about brings us to the end of this update. As I mentioned, Runescape's taken a backseat to life in the last few months, but I'm excited to bring you back up to speed, starting with my 120 thieving successes. The reason we're here in the city of however, is that I did promise to show you what I use my soul dies on. I was so thrilled with my first Sword of Ling drop that I just had to use them on this set. It was too perfect not to, as the dies dropped in twos, and I'll definitely be back to Archclay Soul for that final core of Ling. So for now, enjoy the close-ups of the Dark Shard of Ling main hand soul died. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and you'll hear from me in the not too distant future with the next episode. Bye for now.